When it comes to design, there's no greater mentor than the past. This year, Discover ADAC hosts a vast lineup of panels celebrating design's history while also encouraging discussions about its future. Come along as we chat with designers Matthew Quinn, Alexa Hampton, Marshall Watson, and more to discover how they're drawing inspiration from each. I'm Caitlin Peterson with Business of Home, and this is Editor TV. So you were just on a keynote panel called Who Inspires You? Can you tell me a little bit about what you presented?
Well, I was on a panel with Jennifer Bowles, who's just written this extraordinary book called Inspired Design. So we were talking about inspiration and influence, and there's a grandeur to the past that we don't always have now. So I think the past has to be taken into consideration always.
So your panel today was called Who Inspires You? And the book, which was part of the keynote presentation, looks back at the last 100 years of design. What did you find that inspired you the most?
I think it's amazing to look back to the 1930s and 40s and to see how modern so much of the design was and how we're still designing that way today, like Jean-Michel Franck, and then a little bit later than that, Billy Baldwin. I mean, their work is timeless and it never dates.
So you're hosting an event called Dress the Past with the Present today. Can you tell us about the event?
So we are taking it back to the roaring 20s. We have partnered with Foxtail Finery, and they create wonderful pocket squares and scarves, just fun stuff that you would think in the flapper period women would have such a good time with. And we're also doing a reupholstery event, and we're taking a vintage chair and a vintage stool and putting new fabrics on them to bring the past to the present.
Where do you take references from? What are you looking at, and how are you inspired by the past?
I travel a lot. I did as much research as I could, everything from travel logs to architectural magazines to getting the sense of it to actually living in the community, to understanding what people wanted, how people thought, and what the general architecture felt like.
So you're changing scale, you're changing materials. What are some of the other things Hinton is looking at to put a modern spin on some of those designs?
Color for sure. You know, Hinton had a very traditional color palette that was very almost English country or New England. But we didn't have a lot of grays. We know those are really important. We didn't have a lot of clean whites. We didn't have a lot of cooler colors and colors that people are using today. So one of the first things we've done in reimagining the brand for the future is completely refresh the color palette without getting rid of it.
So tell us about the Whole Home project and your presentation today.
The idea started really with this concept that homes can do more than just be beautiful. They should really help us live better. And so it's really meant to bring to life these ideas that your home should work for you, for your goals. So if you want to get healthy, here are the things in the kitchen specifically that you can do to meet those goals. If you want to stay active, here's that. So it's really a way of thinking about addressing the whole you.
Making a house this mindful had to be such a departure from kind of other projects. What was that experience like for you?
You know, it's funny. We all get involved in a project at different stages, different times, and this one was very unique in that from the get-go, we started thinking through all these things. And it was really neat because we had this great team. We had Linda MacArthur as the architect, Michael Ladisik as the builder, Sherry Hart as the designer, me as the kitchen and bath designer, and of course we had the House Beautiful team. So all those different perspectives just made it so much more interesting.
What is your biggest takeaway from Market?
Well, we have such an incredible lineup of speakers for this Discover ADAC, but I am actually really proud of the number of dynamic women speakers that we have this time. And these are women that are powerhouses in business, but they're also raising families at home, and they have beautifully decorated homes, and they're decorating beautiful homes, and they're doing all of these things really, really well. And I think that they are just great mentors for women in today's world.
That's a wrap here in Atlanta. We hope you've enjoyed this look at the panels and events here at Discover ADAC. I'm Caitlin Peterson with Editor TV. Thanks for watching.